Hello everyone, welcome to Coaching with Nadia. I've decided to do this video today to explain you a little bit how I moved to Switzerland. Yes, I was in Spain before Switzerland. I was in Spain in 2008 when I moved to Switzerland. Well, 2008, yeah, 1st of January 2008, I moved to Switzerland. Before that, I was in Spain, and I decided to move to Switzerland basically for work reasons. It is normally said that either you move for love or for work. Is one of those two things. So I've decided to move for work reasons. And what do I do for work? So I do IT. Well, it's one of the things that I do because I do many things now. But at the time, and even now I do IT. But at the time, that was only my focus, right? So I studied IT, computer engineering, a degree in Spain in a British university, and then I decided I was working in Barcelona a little bit, and so, but I wanted to have better opportunities in Spain than the ones I wanted to have better opportunities than the ones I had in Barcelona. Okay, and be reminded that Barcelona, it was okay. Like I never had any issues on finding a job in Spain. In IT, I could speak English, so I will always work in international environments that will pay a little bit higher than many of the traditional Spanish companies. So it was okay, but still Barcelona was at the time, and I think today as well, town was very, very expensive. Accommodation was very, very expensive. I was paying for a room. So I'm gonna tell you about my salary. So at the time when I was working in Barcelona, I was having a 12 months salary, and per month net, clean after taxes and everything, I was making about 1,500, between 1,500 and 1,600, and then I was paying for a room 450. I had my own bathroom. It was not a room in the most trendy area in Barcelona, and even it was a little bit outside of the city and all of that. I don't like living in the cities, but it was not in a bad area, but it was not like in a highly demanded area as many other people would like to live in, right? So what I'm telling you this so that you can see the prices, and the reason why I decided to move to Switzerland was because I wanted to have better career opportunities. I wanted to grow. I just felt like in Spain I was a little bit flat, and altogether the economy was a little bit flat. Because I always worked in international companies, I met people from other countries like Sweden, Norway, and you may wonder, and they were in Spain, working in Spain. Why? Well, because of the style of living, the Mediterranean style of living. It's very attractive for many people, for many Scandinavian people. We have the food, we have the sun, and they like to enjoy it, right? So there are different reasons why people decide to move to a country, right? So in my case in Switzerland was because of work, right? I have heard different things and beautiful things about Switzerland, like, oh, it's very professional, like there, the engineers are really valued, because in Spain you have a lot of engineers and they don't get the jobs that they should be getting. They don't get the salaries that they should be getting. They are not paid as they should. So I've heard, like in Switzerland, there were not that many highly qualified people, and they were in need of highly qualified people. And it's true, in Switzerland you have a lot of people who don't have university degree. They are specialized. They do a trade, right? And it's completely good. It's valid and it's needed. And that's one of the good things that they have, right? That not everyone has to go to university. Not everyone has to do a university degree. So Switzerland has a system. If you want to do like a trade, Switzerland has a very good system for that. But that makes Switzerland a country with not that many highly, and when I say highly, because after working all these years in IT, you have people who have done a trade and they are much highly qualified and competent and professional than many people in corporations. So when I say in corporate jobs, so when I say really highly qualified, I mean what people mean, like university degree and so on. That's what I mean, not really nothing else based on my personal experience, you know. So Switzerland, has a lack of those highly qualified people, and there are a lot of people from abroad. There are a lot of expats here, and companies. There are a lot of multinational companies where you can work with the English. I live in Zurich, in the German-speaking part. So here you have a lot of companies. The native language here is German and Swiss German, which is the dialect here in Zurich. But you have a lot of international companies, and you can work in English. And in my case, when I moved here, I didn't know a word of German. I just decided to learn it because, well, I love languages. I could already speak 4 languages. I could speak French, I could speak English, I could speak Portuguese, and I could speak Spanish. And because I like languages, I love languages, I love cultures, and I grew up like that, like always traveling to other places, traveling to France, the United States, learning other languages, learning other cultures. So for me, it has been always exciting, to meet people from different cultures and to learn different cultures. So for me, it was not a problem. So when I moved here, I learned the language. Then I moved here on January the 1st, 2008. And as I say, I moved here because of work. And when I moved here, to be honest, I didn't have a job yet. And the reason being, when I was in Spain, I tried looking for jobs here in Switzerland so that I could come with an offer. But then I saw that, they were like wondering, the type of questions they will ask me, something like, have you been here? And so it's like, oh, maybe she comes here, she doesn't like it, and she leaves, because there are a lot of people, there are a lot of people like that, who go to a country, especially in Switzerland, because it's very, very particular. Switzerland may not be really what you hear about Switzerland. You may get a very huge cultural shock, especially coming from countries. I could say especially, but not really. I was going to say especially coming from Mediterranean countries, but even if you come from Germany, Germans, they have also shock and so Switzerland is very particular. I mean, bear in mind that Switzerland itself has 4 official languages. Has 4 official languages, and it has different regions which are called cantons, are like provinces, and each one has its own dialect, even its own way of speaking, and so it's very diverse and it's very unique. Each one wants to be them, like from speak the dialect and like from them region and like do things their way. And imagine if you add on top of that the 4 different languages with the 4 different cultures. As you can imagine, the Swiss German part it's completely different to the French speaking part of Switzerland. The Swiss German part has a lot of Germans, right? Because of the German language is very easy, has a lot of this influence. But the French, for instance, has a lot of French influence. And on top of that, you have all the people that speak French around the world, which is much more than the people who speak German, right? Because people who speak French, because we have a lot of people who speak French from the colonies, right? From the north, Morocco, Tunisia, all these countries, and they can as well come and they come and they work in Switzerland. So the French-speaking part has a mixture, has a vibe that you don't have in the German-speaking part. And then if you go to the Italian-speaking part, it's even more. It's different because it's close to the Italian speaking part. You have a lot of Italians who work in the Italian speaking part, right? Who board there. So very diverse, very, very rich culturally. And when you come here, it can be the cultural shock, and not at the beginning. Like when I moved here at the beginning, I was just in love with this place, with the people and everything, even though I didn't understand what people said. Like there was a German. I had a German acquaintance at the time. He was like, "Oh, how can you like it? How do you know if you don't know what you understand what people say?" But it's like the energy, like the vibe, right? Like when I come to Zurich, I had this impression like everyone was just minding their own business, which is true. But then with years, you see how narcissistic the culture is, you know, how self-centered the culture is, how everything is about me, and how there's a lack of solidarity, you know. And if you compare that to countries such as Spain, Italy, Greece, where people are much more social, they watch more for their neighbor, you know. And Switzerland is a Christian country, you know. It's like, I mean, by definition, not by origin, but it's a Christian. I mean, you have churches, so by definition, I say, if we could say that, but it's a very secular society. So what I'm trying to say is that in the Christian country, like you learn a lot to look for your neighbor, right? To think about the others, and in Switzerland, even though it's a Christian country, it's a very, very individualistic country. And when you compare it to Spain, for instance, it's just like another world. It's a very, very, very different. And on top of that, I'm in the German speaking part. So imagine how different that is, you know. It's so different that I'm gonna tell you that there are people from the German speaking part that move to the Italian speaking part because they say that it's different, that it's more warm, that people are better, nicer, and so on, especially when they have children. You know, when they have children, the children go to school, they want the children to be brought up in the Italian speaking part because it's a little bit more Latino. Even the educational system, it's much more similar to our educational system, to the one that we have like in the Latino countries, where everyone studies just together in the same class. They all have the same level. You know, here in Switzerland, it's very, very different. I will do a video in the future about that. So in my case, I moved here, and when I moved here, I didn't have a job, so I started looking for a job, and it was quite good. It worked quite well. Once I was here, I started having interviews very, very fast because I could then send CVs with a Swiss address, you know. And this is the reason why I moved here even without having a job, which I don't recommend you do, okay? So don't take my advice on this. If I could go back in time, I wouldn't do it, you know. But it has its advantages, and this is why people do it, and this is why I've heard from some people why they didn't. This is why I decided to do it, right? So the reason why I did is because I've heard people like from London. There are Spaniards, they go to London, and they say that once you are there, it's much easier, you know, because they see that you have an address from there, and then you can quickly go to interviews. But I mean, it's not so much from the money perspective point of view, because many of these international companies, even if you are in outside of the country, they pay you to come for interviews, and so if they want to. So it's not so much that, but it's like psychologically, they think, oh, she's not here, and she likes it, or I don't know, she's been living here for a while, because that's another thing. They don't know for how long you've been living in the country. So they know that you are already based and established in the country, okay? Even if it's just like as a tourist, even if you just came without a job and to see how things work. And so, because this is another thing, when I moved here to Switzerland in 2008, Switzerland borders were still closed for the European Union. So I could come here as a Spanish citizen. I could only come here as a tourist for 3 months. And if I wanted to stay longer because of looking for a job, I needed to request it. I need to make a request and to prove that to say, to detail that, hey, I'm looking for a job and blah blah in this area in IT where there are no any engineers and all of that. So when I came here, I started looking for a job, and as I said, it worked quite well when I started having interviews. But then after 3 months, I didn't get a job, and then I decided that I was going to go back to Barcelona and look for a job, and in Barcelona, and at the same time keep looking in Switzerland. And the reason being, it was money. I had planned. My plan was to stay here for 3 months with my savings in 3 months, because Switzerland is very expensive. The apartment, imagine like in Spain, I was making between around 1,500 per month, and here in Switzerland, I was paying for my studio. I rented a small studio, very, very beautiful, very, very cozy. I was very lucky. I thought it was one of the best areas in Switzerland. Very cozy. It has a small kitchen. I could cook, and I decided to rent it like that. I was paying 2,000, 2,000 euros. So I was paying more than my whole salary in Spain. So a monthly salary in Spain. So for a 15 square meters studio. So imagine how much money I had saved, not only to pay for that studio, but also to pay for groceries, for food, for transportation, for my flights, everything, right? So after those 3 months, I still had a little bit of money, which was the money to go back to Spain and to live in Spain. And I decided that after 3 months I will just go back and find a job in Spain, because I never had any issues to find any job in Spain. I could just find it like this, and it was the case. But it just happened that because I was still having my card, my Swiss card, I was always checking if any of the companies I had submitted my CV to, if they were inviting me, if they were contacting me, if they wanted to talk to me, for jobs perspectives. So I was always checking my phone, and because I was doing that, a week after being there, I got a call from a company here, and then a week later I was back. I was so happy. The job conditions, the salary was not what I was expecting. I think I will make a video about that, but I was just happy that I found a job in Switzerland, that I could be in Switzerland. And I just loved it when I was here the first time. I just felt like it was home, that I had been here forever. Though that changed over the years. After 5, that there's a mark in Switzerland, maybe in other countries, when you immigrate, when you reach that 6-7 years mark, it's like, oh, let me get out of here. I cannot stand this country, the people, everything. Let me just get out of here. I reached that mark after 6-7 years, and then once you pass that mark, then you survive, and then you make Switzerland your home forever. That's a lot of people have a hate-love relationship with Switzerland. And I think I am one of those type of people. Though today, imagine after all these years, almost 17 years, my gosh, time flies. After 17 years in Switzerland, this has been this is home, for all these years. So. Yeah, so I moved, and I found a job, and then I started working, and then my company at the time, they had you could rent a room in one of the apartments. My company has because it was a multinational company, international company, so there were people coming, expats coming for a year or 2 years. So I could rent a room, and this is another thing. I was renting a room in an apartment that had other 3 bedrooms. I was renting 1 bedroom in an apartment from the company, had another 3 bedrooms. Do you know how much I was paying for that bedroom? 2,000. Just for the bedroom was big. Had the furniture. I think I was paying 200, 2,000 or almost, almost like 1,800, 1,900 Swiss francs, which is like dollars, euros. It was a lot. It was a lot of money. But sometimes you just have to be practical. It's what it was available at the time, and then it was close to my work where I was working. So that's what I took. That's what I accepted while I was looking for another apartment. And then the company had other apartments as well that they were rented. So I went to check one of the apartments, but I didn't like it. It was too big. It had like 2 rooms. I felt like lonely, and so I decided to wait in that room while I was paying a lot of money in that room. And then I found my own apartment. And my own apartment, I was making how much I was paying. I was paying like 1,500 for a 50 square meters apartment with a balcony, and so with like a garden, because it was on the ground floor. It was very nice, and it was not furnished or anything, but not bad. It was not furnished, and I like it like that, because then I can buy my own furniture, and it has my own energy. And I started going to places to furnish it, and buying stuff, making a little bit of that place my home. And then continue working. And then I think I'll make other different types of videos to tell you, like, what is it like working here, and all of that. But for now, I just wanted to tell you about my story about moving here to work here. And because at the time, even though the borders were closed for European unions, I didn't have to prove. Once I found the job, it was okay. If you find a job at the time, I could just move. Now it's different. Now people can just come as long as they want. So by the time, if you find the job, it's just it was just okay. I didn't have to prove. My company didn't have to prove that there were not Swiss people who could do that job and all those things, because in the past they had to do that before 2008. So it was just like that for me. I got the job, and then I went to the immigration office with my work permit. I showed to them. Then I could open the bank account with my work permit, and that was basically it. And then just work and daily life, and I will tell you more in future videos. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you like it. Bye.